Let's meditate. It's raining outside. And a quiet day, whole day. Except some talk with GPT, AI, back and forth, and some difficulties. I'm not rushing. If we are rushing, our mind is busy. When there's some danger or even opportunity, you may want to rush. But rushing is tricky. If you are chased by a coyote or dog, well, you may have to rush. But even then, I tend to think calm and quiet mind would help how to deal with the situation. In diving, I see sharks. I met sharks many times. And you can tell intuition. But if you're rushing to do something, typically, it may not be a good idea. You may want to face them directly. Not running away. Perhaps it's the same when we are about to die. I haven't gone through that myself, so I cannot tell, but acceptance can be a quiet help. So the rain is falling harder, and you can hear the rain dropping on the roof down below. I may accept the noise all night. We'll see. As I talk, the sound gets louder, in fact. Last year, when it happened, I put the towel. It's down below, I cannot reach, so I put the string attached to the towel and put it on the location where the rain water hit the roof. People here haven't figured out how to fix the gutter. So I accept and find way to be inventive. If nothing works, what can you do? Accept. when our mind moves, the best thing is to see if it's worthwhile to go with the mind and just, but yet to be quiet, as if detach yourself from the subject. When the AI made the mistakes I mentioned, and they keep making the same mistakes over and over, and eventually I stopped. They made lots of excuses, apologies. It's a simple change. It's so interesting about using AI. They can read like 10 different documents, even 100 pages in a millisecond, and give you the answer. What's in there? What's the summary of it? But certain things, they are not good. They are not good at it. So it's interesting. I can see at least two key errors that I notice. One is they don't have a long-term memory. So if something happened yesterday or some time ago, they cannot focus as much. The other one is, like today's case was a simple operation, but they couldn't do it. In this case, it's a shortcut. Instead of doing diligently, step at a time, they shortcut, and on one part answer is there, but on the other part, the document was not updating the change. So I asked them why, and they may tell you, and they say they can fix it, but they failed again. What's interesting is that they can find the reason of the mistake. But so far there's no much progress. So I used the analogy of the parents and the kids. Kids have some habitual pattern they cannot remember if it's a little complex. I guess I was like that when I moved from New Zealand to to Japan and meeting many people. Instead of observing and being quiet, I was kind of rushing to see if I can engage myself, and that was a kind of suffering, tiring. It's like I was stretching instead of forgetting to observe myself, but occupied in our conversation. So yesterday afternoon and today, I had much more quiet time and finding that for me, solitude is good. But it's interesting, a part of me says, why don't I connect with friends? But to me, there's a balance. How much, to what degree, how deep. The best thing is to be able to judge how much, how deep, how to communicate, or not. I think being able to sustain quietude is a sign of wisdom, not rushing and saying something which may be very shallow. So, connecting to heart, the source of wisdom, I need to cultivate. I remember I had that awakening experience and had a quiet years afterward, but at certain point I decided to have divorce, and instead of status quo, I thought I want to go back to the world and see what's happening. And when I did that, even though I thought I can handle lots of difficulties, it wasn't easy at all. I was patient and patient and patient, but I found there's a limit. Otherwise I get pulled into this confusion or turmoil. So there's a balancing act we have to make. Even reflecting my marriage, there was good reason for us to get married. Shared interest, business, growth. But after a while of succeeding, okay, I had enough of it. So I wanted to explore Zen and spirituality, as well as nature's way, to come to New Zealand and so forth. So that's when I found me different from my wife. And after a while, as my son graduated from college. He didn't, but he went to the ceremony. I had divorced. And then I thought I went into the world to see how I can swim, but I wasn't swimming well. So right now, my answer is living alone and be happy. Everything is my responsibility. Nobody to complain but myself. And then I learn how, or I have learned before, but then the habitual pattern take over. Just like the errors made by AI. Conceptually you may understand, but execution may not work well. So in case of AI, it's called hallucination or pure error. But in this case, it's a systematic error that I had and discovered on ChatGPT. It has great capability, but there's also error, the flaw. Just like kids learning how to grow, I'm sure they're gonna fix these errors over time, but it may take time. So whether AI or partners or friends and people or living in different nations, those external interface situation changes, then internal process may become somewhat agitated or lose the quality. Just like learning a new language or new custom, there's the initial failure and things get smoothened out. But it may not, depends on the situation. So know thyself is important, as well as know others, external world. How to deal with in relation to dealing with our internal world is key. I think that's the chime at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. What you hear. It's also the time to end this meditation. let's make the best in the impermanent world, but connected to the core of our being, so that we can maneuver, swim, have a balance, and not get lost. In a way, it's like a game. Maybe if you see it like a game, your mind is calm and clear. But who knows what happens when the turbulence hit. So doing nothing, like I do this meditation, is at least a space of time being quiet. And let the obvious become obvious, which is have a calm, quiet mind to help us to bring out the wisdom, and keep that as a way, so that we have this good habitual pattern, if I may say so, to connect to the heart, can help us to live life. Thank you.